I'm gonna get it. I don't know how long he's gonna be here for, but I'm just gonna start it. It's lightning in a bottle. Hey, man.
What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, Drake? It's been what? I mean, this is. I want to say it's been a while, but I feel like you were just here like a month ago, weren't you?
Yeah, like a month ago or so.
There you go.
I'm just checking back in on the fellas, seeing how everybody's doing.
Huh.
We're more interested in how you're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm good right now. I just got checked into my hotel. I'm not gonna divulge exactly where I'm at or what I'm doing, but yeah, out traveling the United States on my 007 shit.
All right.
007.
License to Kill.
Kulik, Drake Kulik. And he has that, allegedly, he's also packing the same weapons as James Bond, too.
Why is this trip on the DL? Why don't you want people to know where you're at?
I just haven't been like outward about what I'm doing, so I just been keeping it under wraps.
I mean, you did just say 007, which I feel like.
Yeah, but that really doesn't. That could mean anything,
It is true. I mean, some would say it means you work for MI6 under the English rule or whatnot. But yeah, it could mean anything as well.
Am I Mossad?
Jesus Christ. Probably. We had a topic for this show, but if Drake's here, I don't know. We might be able to just.
No, let's talk about quarterbacks or questions or whatever. I saw your list of questions.
Yeah, well,
Drake's
Do you
in group
have a
text.
answer for any of them?
We'll find out, won't we? I usually just make shit up right there on the spot.
That's true. This is actually an episode that over the course of the 570 whatever of these, plus another however many that we didn't number, plus another however many DHTs and taglines we've done, I've probably done just as much prep for this show, or at least this specific topic, than I ever have, which is saying something. So hopefully that
I want to talk about your Miami vacation, bro. Your competition. You guys went out there and balled out. B team went and put a spanking on the starters.
Well, no, the starters still beat us by one score.
No, see, when you beat them out of 4 out of 6 events, it's just heads up, bro. You and I both know it's all about heads up.
That is true. Okay, I can give a quick rundown on that. I'll say this: you described it as a vacation. It was very much not.
I know.
Miami
Work trip.
Yeah, it was more of a work trip. It was a CrossFit competition. It is technically the biggest off-season CrossFit competition that there is. So there's a lot of divisions. I certainly was not in the elite or pro division, but we were pretty damn close at the end of the weekend. Yeah, the boys, we have at the gym that I go to every, once a week just to get socialization. Cole Fish trains there. You guys know that Cole Fish is into the CrossFit now as well. And then we have, we got 3 other guys that are pretty fit over there. And then there's it's crazy. There's this guy named Reggie who owns a gym in Waukee. He's 40 years old and he was my 3rd teammate. He's 40 and this dude is fit as fuck, dude. He's unbelievable. Like truly the MVP of the weekend. So 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 events each day. And yeah, you go out there and do CrossFit. And we backfilled as an invitate into this division. Like didn't even technically qualify. Couple teams didn't accept their invite because a little bit expensive for some to travel to Miami and do it.
No, so we're shit. Miami is an absolute money pit.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, we had that conversation, Drake. I was sort of like secluded to the competition venue and the Airbnb. I think we spent like $100 on groceries for the weekend, basically between me and another guy. And that was about it. So we got
That's insane because you can spend $100 per meal there if you're not careful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You guys didn't go to like Nobu.
No.
Before just ball out.
No, dude. Drake made a really funny comment. Actually, he's like, "You're the only person I know that goes to Miami to cook himself chicken and rice."
Yeah.
And he's so right. He's so right. It's like the biggest facts there.
That's true.
And yeah, we ended up getting 7th out of 40.
That's so good, dude.
Yeah, crazy good. And not only that, but we ended the competition Sunday night, last workout under the lights with an event win. We won the thing.
Walk off dub.
Yeah, we bullied people in an event that was sort of a big man. And I know that's funny to say. I'm on the bigger side of a CrossFit athlete, and then the other two are bigger than me. We kind of bullied people. And actually shout out Iowa football because it had dumbbell snatches in it and
You can do those.
just ripping 70-pound dumbbell snatches for reps. And the other teams were making it look like it was 170 pounds. So shout out to
I can't lie, dude. I saw some pics. Your arms are jacked.
we've been grinding. There is no doubt that the physical product that I have right now is the best it's ever been in 30 years.
What are the games?
The games are in August.
Why do I think they're like in the spring?
No, that's kind of like the middle.
When is the open? I guess.
Open is in a month. Starts. In a month.
So that's what I meant.
Yeah. So the official CrossFit season starts in a month, and we're
So you're like should be in like peak form, right?
We are peaking. Yes.
So games in August. Where are they at?
This year they're in Albany, New York. That's a whole other story.
That's an interesting place.
I
would assume that you'll be able to get a cheap Airbnb in Albany, and go out there and try and shake some shit up.
I think they got chicken and rice up there, right?
I imagine they sell jasmine rice and chicken breast in the northeast.
You're a jasmine rice guy, not a basmati?
I'm a jasmine rice guy.
Grant, when you buy rice at the store, what rice do you
Grant's
buy?
like, when's the last time I bought rice?
Minute rice, actually.
Minute rice.
I like Uncle Ben's grain brown.
Yeah, Uncle Ben's puts a great product out
I
there.
thought they got rid of Uncle Ben.
No, Uncle Ben's is what we make our family's very, very special rice dish with. And anybody you show rice dish to, it immediately becomes their favorite side ever.
Dude, rice is just an elite food. I just love it. Anyway, so we did well in Miami. It was a good time. I felt good. And we have another competition, actually, funny enough. This kind of ties into the segue. We'll talk a little bit about the Iowa women's team today. But I'm going down to see DeMarco this weekend, boys.
Hell yeah.
So there's a growing competition in South Carolina called Fittest of the Coast.
Competition?
It's getting bigger and bigger. It started out.
Okay. I thought you were talking about
it's a steroid contest.
It's
to see who can inject the most.
It's growers versus showers. No. I wouldn't win that one. DeMarco has, the gym that he goes to. He's got a couple freaks down there. They've been doing this competition the last couple of years. Funny enough, Gabby Marshall, obviously last year, she final year in the program, she moves on to I don't know what she's doing, some kind of graduate program at North Carolina, I believe. Her boyfriend.
Yeah, Chapel Hill or?
Yeah. Her boyfriend
from Chapel Hill?
was a manager on the basketball team. His name's Spencer. He got into CrossFit after I think he played basketball at Wartburg and then moved on. He was a manager at Iowa. He's gotten into CrossFit and they're like, hey, Spencer needs a partner. So me and Spencer ended up doing the qualifier for this, and we qualified, and we're gonna go and give it a run. And we've been we've been peaking for these competitions. This is the only thing I do to feel.
You're a professional athlete, bro. Traveling the country to compete.
I'm pretty excited about this weekend. One, to see DeMarco. DeMarco and his partner are in the pro division, like the elites.
They're that good, huh?
How high do you have to place to get paid?
Ooh.
Winners of each division make money, so I could technically make money. DeMarco has a partner who is a young kid. I believe he was a strength intern for DeMarco at one point, and he has this guy is out of this world fit, and DeMarco's legit too. They could legitimately win the whole thing this weekend. So
anything DeMarco. Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you think DeMarco's just using his program to recruit and find some young talent that he can partner with for these CrossFit competitions?
No, doubtful. This kid I think it just happened this way. But funny. So after this kid was an intern for DeMarco, he went and I think he interned or got a assistant job at Tennessee Tech, And so on the side, he was doing his workouts at Rich Froning's gym, which is, the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
So he got into all that down there, and he's super competitive. And him and DeMarco are going to put on an absolute show this weekend. It's exciting. I'm excited to see DeMarco. I haven't seen DeMarco since was he there when we left, or had he already gone?
He was there.
Okay, so it would have been 2018 May. I haven't seen him since then.
Has he lost like a lot of weight?
He's fit. I mean, he's got abs and like.
No, but I mean, he's a bigger guy, so it's like.
I believe DeMarco is hanging out around like 215 to 220.
And that's not ideal for CrossFit guys usually, right?
No, he's certainly a big dude. Now it plays well because, like, for example, an event this weekend is going to be like the short burner of thrusters and pull-ups. You get to rest, and then the second part of the workout is just 3 minutes of max clean and jerks at 225. DeMarco's
the second part of that workout, he'll crush.
He's going to just blitz people. Like, he's going to murder people. And I think it's actually for the pro division, it's 245. I mean, the guy, I think he still hang snatches like 275 or 285. He just power cleaned like 405 last week. Or not power clean. He cleaned off the ground 405. So he's stronger than everyone. So if a strength event comes out, and he's worked on his engine and his aerobic capacity over the last DeMarco, I think DeMarco used to shit on CrossFit actually. And
he did. I remember specifically him shitting on CrossFit.
And he is fully in on CrossFit now. Yeah. So yeah, but speaking of no one wants to hear anymore about the CrossFit stuff. If you're interested, go to Instagram. I'll keep you updated there on the story. I don't know if you'll actually be able to watch any of these this weekend, but I'll keep people updated. Caitlin Clark got her jersey retired today as we record this. And the Hawks get a big old win inside Carver Hawkeye Arena. Knock off number 4 USC. How about that?
It's good stuff.
True story.
Did you guys watch it?
Yeah. No, I caught on and off that a little bit. I didn't watch the whole thing, if I'm being honest, but it was a little.
I watched the whole thing today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I think it might be the first whole front to back basketball game I've watched in
this year,
maybe ever.
Ever? Really?
You didn't watch the national championships?
No, I watched those. I watched last year's Big Ten championship that went to overtime against Nebraska. That was the only in-person Caitlin Clark game I was able to see. So that's a good one to go to.
Did you see what? I was gonna say, did you guys just see David Letterman just casually sitting courtside?
Yeah, next to Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa and her husband.
I don't know how they became friends or how that worked out, but like he's been at multiple Iowa games before, like sitting next to Lisa.
Oh, really?
It's funny to see Lisa sitting on the sidelines, like just look at like she's just retired life, just like living her best life. She's excited as shit.
That's a big win, though. That's huge. I mean,
it's a massive win, dude.
USC's a really good team there. I looked at I couldn't even believe. I thought it was a mistake. Like when I looked at the first quarter box score, and USC only scored 4 points.
Yeah,
it was nuts.
It was a very weird first half where Iowa got they were balls out, feeding off the energy of the stadium, just going nuts on defense, forcing turnovers, like most magical first quarter you could ask for this year's situation. And then it flipped, and Juju had like 14 in the second, and they started making shots, and Iowa started turning it over. But net at halftime, there was some discussion in the Discord of like, wow, that really hurt to like let them go on that run. But if you ask anybody going into today, you're like, hey, you're going to be down 1 at half. I think most people are signing up for that. No matter how you get there, you're like, yeah, we'll take down 1 at halftime.
Against the number 4 team in the country. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Best player in the nation, or at least in the conversation. Sure. Juju Smooth. I imagine, Drake, you didn't watch that one. You're probably on your flight. Drake died. Oh, no. Drake got shanked. Somebody killed Drake. Oh, no.
Can you guys not hear me?
Oh, there you are.
I didn't do anything. It just stopped taking my audio.
Oh no. You got to give it harder.
Yeah.
But did you?
No, I didn't see the game. No.
Okay.
I saw that Caitlin was she was brought into the stadium by about 8 cops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly,
That's
I would
quite
guess
the
more.
security detail.
It's got to be annoying. Like she's to that point where it's like it's annoying.
But I mean, she had that stalker thing like about a month ago.
Yeah, and we
Probably
didn't
has
talk.
something to do with
I think
it.
Grant and I talked like 3 minutes about that on a taglines. Yeah, like a legitimate like guy from Texas like followed her, came to like the game, like was trying to sit behind the bench of FIBA games, like crazy.
I even heard about that. That's how
Like,
much news that got.
outrageous like messages in her DMs, like it was bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
like,
are you
the
not?
whole The
Go ahead,
whole
Kevin.
world knew she was going to be there, obviously. So I mean, like anybody's like crazy enough to try something, that's probably what
If
you
you're
think-
Connor, how are you not pulling up on homie and sticking a gun in his mouth?
Well, because he's a sane human being, and you're not. And like there are other avenues of managing those threats. But certainly one route you could go is to stick a gun in the guy's mouth, Drake, allegedly, theoretically.
It's crazy that guy was just firing off tweets too the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Like he was like the whole article or whatever came out, and then that guy still on Twitter was.
You
like,
see, they arraigned him,
crazy things.
like, and he sat down and he's like, guilty as charged.
Really?
He said that at his arraignment.
So this guy's like actually a psycho.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's totally
he is.
mentally
He's
lost.
crazy
He's like
guy.
some 55 or 60-year-old dude that's just totally mentally gone. It's creepy. Anyway,
And the creepy thing about that is like there's nothing that he didn't do anything they can put him in jail for yet, right? Like he's just got a restraining order.
I mean, until he gets charged with like full-on stalking, which I don't know what the sentencing for that is, but yeah, I don't know.
He's just out in the world.
I think so. Yeah, I think I saw something when it was
I wouldn't like that.
when it was going down. I think when they brought him, like, because I believe he was charged in Indiana. At one point, they were like not going to let him leave the state, which makes sense. But then you're keeping him in the state of the person he's stalking, so that it's a little bit of a conflict.
That would be, I was about to say that's counterintuitive.
Yeah, so I don't know the current status of the situation, but like, isn't it wild that Caitlin Clark, like this girl from West Des Moines, not Valley, wow, I'm gonna get shredded, Dowling, has become that much of a phenomenon?
She's one of the most famous athletes in the world, and what like probably a top 5 most famous female athlete of all time, and that's saying something.
All time, bro. Ooh.
You think already? Maybe,
Bro, at the fame level, look at what social media wasn't around.
I know.
Back then, man.
I know. The thing is you're right. Like, and it's not even like it. Like, she is international.
Look at the type of money and the type of endorsements that she's making, dude. That's like she's already at Serena and Venus Williams, the combination type of money.
I was gonna say who would be up there? It'd just be
it's Serena for sure.
Yes, yeah. Venus and Serena are above,
but Serena more than Venus.
Serena,
without a doubt, yeah.
But people still know who Venus was.
Katie Ledecky
up there.
I would say Caitlin's above her.
Like I'd say more people. If you're walking down the street, you walk by Caitlin Clark and Katie Ledecky, I think people notice who Caitlin Clark is.
I don't know. You look at Katie Ledecky's shoulders, you're like, holy shit, she must
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say outside US, maybe Katie Ledecky wins, but inside US, Caitlin Clark definitely wins.
That's the thing. Like, here's the deal with her becoming friends now with like Taylor. She's got this entire audience that doesn't even watch basketball. The Swifties love her just because
she's an American superstar. There's no doubt about it.
I talked to iColt last week. Our podcast came out on Thursday, and we kind of caught up on all the stuff that's happened with Iowa football from his perspective. And I asked him his opinion. I think she's surpassed Niall Kinnick as like most, whatever you want, like most something Hawkeye. I think because of today's social media and the way that the internet is a thing now. Not saying Niall wouldn't have had that back then, because I think he would have. I mean, the man was on pace to become the president.
Well, you have to be a lot more specific than something.
I don't know what
I have no idea what that.
You guys help me out. I don't know what the title is, but I think she's
famous? Yeah, you're probably
she's the most famous Hawkeye,
yeah,
or maybe the most impactful Hawkeye at this point. Something like that.
You could argue
Yeah,
famous
you-
for sure.
Yeah, you pull 100 Americans, more of them have heard of Caitlin Clark than now King. I mean, that's
Sure.
It's 100% true.
100% true.
Outside of the Heisman historical
Caitlin's also
society.
not starting at safety for the Hawks next year either. Neither of them are. So just is what it is. But yeah, very cool. Her
Can you
jersey's
imagine
retired.
how much of a liability she'd be back there?
It would be tough. It would be a tough day for her if she had to guard some of the receivers. I mean, just a go route, and she's just gonna get burnt, man. She lacks that vertical speed. It's just not gonna happen. Now, if they roll a basketball hoop out there,
She's still getting stuffed.
Now you sound like the ESPN commenters who are like trying to do anything to not get
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty solid 30-point performance, but I just can't help but feel like if Zay Flowers had a good route on her, she wouldn't be able to guard him.
like if she had to throw an out route on fourth and 4 with the game on the line, I just don't know if she could do it.
It's like,
She had to beat Derrick Henry in the hole. I mean, I just don't know.
All I'm saying is,
what are you talking about?
yeah, look, Angel Reese's arms are longer. If she puts it up there, she's got a better chance of batting the ball down. That's all we're saying.
If they were both playing DN in the Super Bowl, Angel Reese would have a better performance. It just is what it is. Shit. No one will ever wear 22 again, and for the Hawkeyes, and she's in the rafters. Crazy. She is a literal A-list celebrity, and it is what it is.
It's crazy amount of jerseys going up in the rafters in Carver Hawkeye Arena lately.
There's been a few.
Yeah.
Luka, who, by the way, was getting buckets a couple nights ago. He was like 8 of 8, didn't miss.
He's having a great 18 months of basketball. Like since he came on here, great basketball.
Yeah, right. Since he came on the podcast, I mean, people come on this show, Grant. You pointed this out on Twitter the other day. I mean, every season that Cooper has been in the league after coming on the show,
He made the Super Bowl.
he's made the Super Bowl.
It's 100% true. You could argue with a wall. It's 100% true.
It's just facts. Numbers are the numbers.
Can't argue.
Hey, speaking of Luka, how about the other Luka?
Big trade in the NBA today.
That's wild.
That's the first time that NBA news has rolled across my feed in like years, I think.
Ever, probably.
I'm in Dallas now, right?
Yeah.
And I was out last
city
night
burning?
when it was like 11 p.m. late when the trade goes through. And I was outside at this outdoor bar, and you just start. The only thing I can compare it to is when, and this is going to sound terrible. The only thing I could compare it to is when Kobe Bryant died. It's like I remember when Kobe Bryant died. I was on an airplane, and you could hear from like the back of the plane the murmurs of like people being like, Kobe Bryant, what happened, Kobe? Where like this, you could hear like through the bar it getting all communicated outside, like people angry, frustrated, yelling, like Luka got traded where? What? Like people were getting like screaming at each other out in the streets. Like it was a whole mess. Friends going on here.
What are you more Reddit on the NBA than the average American? Like, what was the play here for the Mavs? Like, is
that's what I have no
Luka
idea.
is over 270 pounds right now.
Yeah.
Did he get
Apparently, there's some issue with him in his weight, like Drake was saying. But again, like I don't know. There's like, can you really argue with that when he's putting up points like he is? Like he does so much for the Mavs. I don't think it even matters. But also,
Except for play defense.
yeah, he didn't request a trade, so that was ruled out. Some people were like, oh, maybe he just wanted out. They don't know. But I think also there was apparently he has a big issue with like the front office has had an issue with him for a while and like arguing with refs and other people and like getting the team in penalty and foul trouble or whatnot. And that hasn't gotten better. But again, I don't think that's enough to trade away like someone who's like a top 3-4 player in the league right now. I just don't understand that.
He's but are the Mavs like still trying to win the championship this year? Is this a future play? What's like?
Well, this is what's so
situation like.
If you look at the Mavs roster right now, it's like so the Mavs right now, the roster is like Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, Kyrie.
Right. So like 5 years ago, this is like looks like an awesome roster, right?
If this was 2014, they're the easy favorites to win the championship. Like 10 years ago, this roster rocks. It's like awesome. But now it's like, I don't know, these guys are like Anthony Davis is really injury prone. Like Klay Thompson,
He's 31 and injury
anymore.
prone
Like,
as shit.
It's strange. I don't like. Yeah, I think they're still trying to win, but like they got slaughtered today, like by the Cavs, who were pretty good too. But I think they lost by like 45 points. It was bad.
They need Caitlin.
They could use Caitlin. Yeah, I'm surprised Caitlin Clark wasn't a part of that trade. I thought it was.
The Mavericks acquired Caitlin Clark out of the WNBA.
But it would have been just as believable if you told me like, oh yeah, we're getting like the Mavs are just going to trade Luka for nothing for Anthony Davis. Basically, was as believable to me yesterday as saying like, oh yeah, the Mavs just picked up Caitlin Clark off the waiver.
It's the same thing.
Like it's the same kind of crazy. Like,
And then a 3-person trade, we got a random guy from Idaho who's getting sent to Serbia.
yeah, the Lakers actually are sending Bronny to the Fever. And Caitlin is going. Caitlin and the Fever are doing a trade. There's Caitlin's going to play for the Lakers.
Has Brownie played at all this year? Like, does he actually play? Or?
He's horrible.
He's been getting some like I think they're G League highlights, but like I see like the occasional Bronny like spin dunk. I'm like, oh hey Bronny.
Yeah, I think he averages like.
I mean, I know that was just a complete PR pick and everything, but like I was just curious if he was actually playing or not.
No, I mean
he's not doing bad in the G League.
No,
but relative to the real deal, he's not good.
No.
When you're comparing him to his dad, I mean, come on.
I'm not even comparing him to his dad. I'm comparing him to like the fourth guy off the bench. Like he's not an NBA player. He's got great genetics though. I mean, LeBron's one of one. Shout out to our friends Drake at Eagle Point Solar.
Oh,
You know about this?
No.
Sponsored by a solar company now.
Wow. Shout out to the sun.
Shout out to it,
Shout
huh?
out to the sun.
Dude. Just providing energy all over the place.
Oh,
We're
And
partnered with.
nice feeling on your skin.
Oh, it feels amazing.
well, you know, for a limited amount of time, all right?
Yeah, we don't want to go crazy.
We are of the pale complexion.
But you know what? These solar panels, modules as they call them at Eagle Point, they can deal with a lot of sun.
Does Eagle Point deal with the sun in Arizona?
I don't know if they're going to go out to Arizona for you. They are sort of a local business, which is good because I don't think we have a huge listenership out in the Arizona region. Couple. Eagle Point probably not going to help you out there. They can help you around the Midwest. They got a large.
Shout out to the Midwest.
area. Minnesota, Wisconsin. You can go to their website actually and track where they've installed their product. They do residential, commercial, business, agricultural. Doesn't matter. You a farmer? Need some solar panels? Just bought a new house? Put some solar on there? People, you could say 50.
Buy a lot of land and go off grid, and you'll never hear from me again.
Big time, right? Never know if you don't test it out right now through the end of the month. $200 Amazon e-gift card if you just do their free solar analysis estimate. You get copies of your electric bill, put your name, your info in there. You can do it right online, eaglepointsolar.com. I'm telling you, like it's not just because they sponsor us. I sat down in a meeting with them and it was like, holy shit, I texted Lauren. I was like, we might have to get fucking solar. We might have to do it. I'm doing the analysis.
The problem is it doesn't pay for itself. If you buy it, it doesn't pay for itself for like 20 years.
Wrong.
Well, in Arizona, that's how we rock.
Wrong.
They try and rob you down here in Arizona.
In the analysis.
It is an investment up front. That is something that, and these guys are all about the education part of it. That's what they wanted to make sure I got that across to the people. But once you run the numbers, and certainly there could be an issue, there could be situations where your current electric bill is.
Maybe they just shut off the sun one year. You never know.
Wow, if they shut off the sun,
that would be crazy if they turned that off.
If they shut off the sun, Eagle Point Solar is fucked. But until they shut
whoever
that thing off,
they is powerful if they can do that.
But until then, Eagle Point Solar is going to get you right. Who knows? If you do nothing, you'll just keep paying. You're at the hands of the electric company. But with solar, you can get a little analysis. You could save $50, $100, $150 a month depending on your bill, and that could be huge over the course of time. If it's a large number, unlike Drake said, 20 years, that investment could pay itself off in seven years, even
Nice.
10 years.
I know one thing. They're building all these damn data centers all over the country. Electricity costs are going to go up.
Gonna go up. It's gonna go up. So shout out to our friends at Eagle Point Solar. We're excited to have them on for this month and a couple other months this year. So gonna be hearing more from them. Topic of tonight. I listened to, actually, this is from a CrossFit podcast. They do it in the CrossFit space, but I thought this would be a good idea for Iowa. Every off season, when the CrossFit Games end, they do like a top 10 questions for the off season. So I thought, what if we did a top 10 questions for Iowa football this off season? In the sense and format of, these are questions that Iowa football can pretty much answer by the time we get to the season. It's not like, oh, we'll see in season. It's like these questions will be sort of sorted through by the time we get sort of into camp. So I curated this from some of the Washed Up Walk-Ons Army on the Discord. I put a few of my own questions in there. I combined some. I wouldn't say this is like the all-encompassing definitive list. Like, it's not a perfect list. I tried to order them in a manner that I felt that they had importance. We'll start at the least important, work to most important, but don't necessarily think of it as like a hard rule there. And we'll kick it off. At number 10, we'll have a little discussion about each one of these. I put, who shows potential to be the breakout player of 2025? It's always somebody, right? And last year was, I would argue, it was Caleb Johnson. I mean, he had already played for 2 seasons, had put a lot of good work in, but I mean, I would certainly say his performance last year was breakout. Who over the course of, and this will happen in spring ball, it'll happen during summer conditioning and
what happened to Bone Thug?
I think he just dipped out for a second. He's got like a real job now. Poor guy has adult issues now. He took a call the other day mid taglines. He's like, hey, you talk. I gotta talk to these moving people. It's like, all right.
Yeah, he's one of those weird people with a job.
Drake's employed.
Are you officially employed now, Drake?
So official employment has not happened yet because the CEO of the company that I'm going to be working for is just kind of been slow about it. He's got a bunch of other things on his plate, and
you're unofficially employed though.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm on duty,
Right.
But I would say probably next week sometime, or even this week sometime, I might officially be employed because I got all my certifications necessary. Nice. Except for the firearms one, I still got to get licensed to carry during work. But
all right. Oh, there you go. So who shows potential to be the breakout player? This one's hard to elaborate on anymore because this really is like who could it be? I think that it could be a receiver because of how much our receiving game has needed a boost the last couple of years. It could be one of these new guys on defense, and we'll get to them in one of the questions as well. We're going to see a lot of new faces on the defensive side of the ball. I think, we talked to Jay Higgins. I don't know if you listened to that conversation, Drake. Fantastic episode with Jay. And he had a lot of good things to say about these 2 linebackers that are about to step in.
Nice.
So who knows who that is?
They?
Carson Shire and I believe his name is Jaden Harrell That's yeah. So, it's Wallace. It's Goat Wallace. He's going to have some guys there.
What did Jay have to say about Goaty Bear?
Oh, dude, unbelievable. Like he was describing how the reason Wallace is so good is because he figures out how to coach each of his guys exactly how he needs to be coached, and listening to him describe it, contrasting him and Nick Jackson to how he coached Seth and Jack Campbell, it was erotic.
That's weird.
That's what it was. So that's question number 10. Again, maybe least important.
Okay, who do you guys give me the answer?
I think there's a chance
I have my answer.
I think there's a chance that Jacob Gill or Jarriett Bowie does some really, really great things at wide receiver.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
What's your answer, Kev?
I'm going to go with Cohen Entringer in the back end and the secondary next year.
Love that.
And I'm going to go with Caden Weegan.
guys back. I mean, he kind of broke out this year, but he does
Yeah,
have.
but he hasn't on offense yet, and they said that he finally has started to really learn the offense.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he can go, man.
Oh, he can go. Love to see that kid work. You're right. He does have. There's a large potential for him to like fill offensive gaps there if they can find a role for him. So that's number 10. Staying on the offensive side of the ball here. Number 9. How do we fill the spots of need offensively to give this new guy Mark Gronowski and Tim Lester sufficient weapons? They've answered this a little bit already. We lost 2 linemen, so we're going to need to refill on a guard and a tackle.
Always and forever will be the most important thing in Iowa football is the offensive line.
Yeah, so we're hoping that that the answer there is that we just have guys in line. I believe that they're high on this kid named Cade Peeper. They've got a couple other guys that are fine. Like we have some depth and a little bit of like the correct amount of growth and youth that is stepping in at the right time versus sort of how they've had to be thrown in there the last few seasons, or at least starting back in 2022. So hopefully they're working in and evolving into those positions where they should be. Obviously at receiver, we need weapons there. We need weapons. And I don't know if this Sam Phillips is the guy. We got him out of Chattanooga. Had a couple sweet highlights, man.
This guy can scoot, right?
He can scoot and he can make plays and he catches the ball. The kid doesn't drop balls. So
I was impressed with Jacob Gill at the end of last year.
Yep. Yes. Jacob Gill made great plays. How does Jarriett Bowie and Reese Vandersea develop, right? Do they develop into potential like down after down weapons?
It's going to be great to see what Reese looks like after a full year of college growth.
I can't wait. Kid's going to be stacked.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, we obviously lose a huge piece of our offense in Caleb Johnson. I hope he goes and balls in the league. Does Kamari Moulton
first round projection?
Potentially. I think second for sure.
I've seen first round projections, dude.
I don't know if he'll go there. I've seen a couple. You're right, but I don't know if he'll go there.
Right,
we'll see.
Of course.
But does Kamari Moulton and Jazz Patterson, does one of them take the next step and have a similar ascension that
I'm impressed with both those kids.
Oh, they run hard.
Yeah.
Our backs are great. And then who knows, right? Who evolves as the third there? Who adds to the stable? At number 8, kind of going away from the roster here. Can the Hawkeyes retain Woods, Wallace, and their other assistants for the entirety of this offseason? Now, obviously, as time passes and goes on, you kind of get out of the cycle of coaching changes and stuff. So this kind of shores itself up. But
I guess we're safe for this cycle.
Yeah, you would hope. This one kind of came back to front of mind for me 2 days ago. Again, not a secret that I'm a fan of Nebraska volleyball. And John Cook, who is their head coach, or was, came in at the exact same time that Coach Ferentz did and has coached for 25 years over there and is an absolute legend. 2 days ago, he called it quits. He said, hey, I've done enough.
Mid-season?
No. They're done. Their season ends in December. Wow. But he said, hey, I'm done. And Nebraska volleyball is at the peak. Like, they've been in the Final Four the last 3 out of 4 years. And he's like, yeah, I've done enough. And so I was like, who knows? When Lisa Bluter retired last year, it was like, holy shit, this is out of nowhere. You just never know.
Well, was it really out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere might be a stretch, but
I don't know. It kind of felt out of nowhere. Like it just feels weird when they go out on top like that, you know? You're like,
people like to go out.
I know. It's a great place to go out. It's just hard to make that decision.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, oh shoot, Peyton Manning after a long career went out when he won a Super Bowl. Oh, how could he do that?
Wow.
Look at Israel Adesanya right now.
Didn't he get smashed again?
Yeah, he just got knocked out.
Still. But I think retaining Coach Woods, Coach Wallace, and all the other great assistants, I think we have a great staff. Always a big question. So that's number 8. Number 7, does the combination of Strenga and Ortworth at tight end over the course of this offseason Do they develop, take the next step, both physically and leadership-wise on the offense, to return our production to tight end U reputation? And I think there's actually a sub-question to this, which is, in Leicester's offense, are the tight ends going to lose a tad bit of significance relative to our peak?
I don't
Not
think
if the playmakers are good enough, right? Like if you had TJ and Noah on the team, you're still going to find a way to get those two guys the ball, whether it's the way that you want your offense to run necessarily or not.
Yes, you're true there, but catching 2 first-round tight ends on your roster at the same time is lightning.
It just doesn't happen.
So I'm just going to say absolutely the position is going to drop off just because it's been at an unbelievably high level for the last decade.
We were at an anomaly, yeah.
Tight end U, baby.
So I mean, this is no knock on them, but like you've got what was George, a 5th-round pick, then you got a couple first-round picks, then you've got a 3rd-round pick in Laporta. Yep. Lachey is going to get picked up somewhere. I mean,
Lachey, dude, we had Luke on too, Drake, and he kind of had a low key season, but I've seen a couple clips of him dicing some linebackers in these. In these All-Star games, he's going to be. I think Lachey is going to go and make a team very, very happy.
Well, here's the thing: is that a team is going to draft him higher than you expect because of what he is. He is a proven Iowa tight end.
Yeah.
Great character guy too. I mean, he'll do well. But I'm just saying, like I, maybe they prove me wrong, but I don't see these guys being those guys.
The production is going to inevitably drop because we had 2 fucking superstars.
Yeah.
Right. I really like what Estrenga and Ortworth provide. They both flashed like several times.
I'm kind of impressed with Estrenga. He's a big body player.
Dude, I love them both. And Luke Lachey had a lot of great things to say about both of them. So, how do they develop? That was number 7. Number 6, who emerges as leaders / captains, kind of that role on this team, aside from Logan Jones, who returns. We graduated 3 of our captains, our consistent weekly captains. Logan Jones, the center, is the only returning one. The names that I wrote down are guys like Dunker, obviously Gronowski coming in.
Wow, that was going to be my first name was Dunker.
Yeah, Dunker, Gronowski. I put Jacob Gill. Who knows? Those are the 3 guys I put on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side, I thought Xavier Wampa kind of take that defensive team leader position. Does Aaron Graves, who returned for another year after teetering on the NFL, take hold of that? And then
Graves will be the guy. Yeah, Herkett too.
Herkett and Llewellyn. Grant's guy Llewellyn. Yeah.
I was gonna say he's younger though. Does that what's the youngest you've ever seen someone be a big time leadership position?
Josie was a sophomore.
He was a team captain as a sophomore.
It was a sophomore. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very hard to do.
I was gonna say I think your middle linebacker needs to be right.
So I think that's gonna be Harrell or however you say his name.
I think that what they need to see out of him this spring in this camp is that he adopts the role that is kind of mandatory of your middle linebacker to adopt, and he takes over as the vocal leader. And I don't know, man, it's important, is it not, Kev?
Oh, of course, yeah. You gotta have command of the defense, no doubt.
It's a big question.
Just like your quarterback, you expect your quarterback to be a leader.
We will we'll get to that in 2 questions too, because that's its own question. Number 5 into the top 5 here. How does Iowa manage the roster limit rule? They have to be down to 105 by camp. Who gets cut? And what are the ideal position group sizes? This is something that they have to figure out going into this year. It's a big question.
Where are we at right now?
Like 125?
I think it was 128 coming out of the bowl game.
Wow.
That's that's uncomfortable.
A lot of tough conversations.
Dude, I would not be sitting here if this would have been me, man.
Now remember, I don't remember if it was after the graduates, then plus the new class. I can't remember what that 128 number was. There's a significant, no matter what, there's a significant amount of guys who are going to have a tough conversation in the next 5 months.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. I don't envy the players and coaches in that situation.
I don't know shit about the other position groups. I know this from a special team standpoint. You're looking at
Bad
two-
news.
Bad news, right? You're looking at 2 guys at each spot, and that's it. It'll never be 3 unless they have.
You think you'll carry 2 punters and 2 kickers?
There's a chance that if you bring a guy in who can do both really well, that you might even teeter on just, one. The problem is you really want to have 2 just in case of injury. Like if I think they'll carry.
I'm with Clue. I think regardless, you got 2 at each position.
If you take 6
this
specialists,
this isn't the NFL. Like 105, like you can.
Sure.
That's
you can
fair.
spare that.
If you take 6 specialists, that leaves 99 for the other positions. And I don't know what those, quarterback room probably is 4 deep.
You got to have at least 10 offensive linemen, if not a dozen, dude.
It might be 13 even.
Yeah, you want 1 quarterback in each class still, I think.
This could probably be its own episode trying to decide what the position group sizes are.
Yeah.
I don't envy the coaches having to do it.
How many DBs, Kev?
Like
9? 10?
10-ish, maybe.
Do you have 6 corners and 4 safeties, or 5 and 5? You got to have 6.
I mean,
right?
Now you got the cash position.
You're gonna have a couple guys who can do both, probably.
If you got that considered in the DB, if you take the cash position and make it a DB position versus sometimes
Then it's 15.
Then I think you need at least
13.
Yeah. It's tough, and you got a rotational D line, linebackers. You're gonna need at least 6 or 7, 8. I mean,
even 6 feels a little light, but
I mean. They start. I mean, they literally have to put that up on a board and be like, "All right, here's the math."
Yeah,
like, that is tough, man. That is.
I haven't been doing the math in my head, but I'm not. We said 4, 6, 10, 12.
Starts to add up.
I don't know where we at. Grant, you've been doing the math on the side there.
Nope.
Damn it.
No, sure haven't. Not a chance.
Producer Bone Dog, what the fuck?
You could argue that this is maybe like the most important question because this is the year they have to get down to the number. But certainly something they're going to have to figure out, and every team is. That was number 5.
Damn, I feel bad for those walk-ons though, dude. Can't say it enough.
Save the walk-ons T-shirt coming soon.
Love
that.
We're working on a design right now. This one goes sort of hand in hand with that. It's sort of outside of the program, but it's relative to the program. How will / should Iowa football allocate their portion of the school's rev share starting in June? How do you break that down? Now, I got a little insight into this talking to Luke Elkin last week. He says the structure that they have is they kind of have 3 tiers on the inside of the program. And those tiers are based on you're either, well, up until this point, it was you're a scholarship athlete or you aren't. And that kind of caps if you aren't, you could earn so much. If you were, there were 3 tiers of guys. Now, he said going into this rev share thing, that's going to be broken down a little bit more because Gronowski's on his own fucking tier. Let's just put that one out there.
With 1.2 million?
Some have said more. I don't know what the number is.
Wow.
So how do you allocate that? So, reportedly they're going to get 15 million out of the rev share deal, and then they're going to get whatever Swarm gives them each year. So let's call it another, even if they got another 5 million from Swarm, how do you allocate 20 million to a football team each year? I know this. Boys, I wish we were there.
Fuck.
God damn.
So, I mean, what is that? It's $500,000 a guy? Or no? What am I?
Whoa, brother. It's about...
No, that would be 40 guys.
If you got $20 million and you have 100 guys for easy math...
It's 200 grand.
200 G's a guy. Now...
But not when you're paying your quarterback 1.5.
Gronowski accounted for 6 of those guys, so all the specialists get 0.
Yeah, the backup specialists, I don't think are going to get a whole lot from the rev share. They're probably just going to have to get Swarm stuff. I have no idea. Why are you asking me?
I'm not necessarily asking you. I'm just posing it as this is one of the
I honestly figured that they came to you as an investor.
Yeah, that ass. Trying to get that
I
strike.
don't know what the return on invested capital is on that.
So how do they allocate?
Happiness during the fall.
Happiness is overrated.
That's the most Kevin quote I've ever heard. That's unbelievable. Holy shit. So I had
Tell
that
that
as
to your therapist.
Yeah. I've never that was number 4. And again, another huge question. Like those last 2 questions could be their own thing, own episodes. Number 3. How does the I won't even say inexperienced or young, but like unproven linebacker and DB core respond to replacing Nick Jackson, Jay Higgins, Schulte, Castro, Jermari? There are a lot of older, experienced guys that left that defensive side of the ball. Basically, half the defense is gone. And guys like Entringer, Shire, Harrell, Lutmer, Deshaun Lee, all names that are going to have to step up and are going to be expected to step in and not only take over on a great defense, but one that took a small step back in 2024 in a couple certain areas. It's a big question.
Kev, you want to go?
I mean, how are they expected to fill those roles? And same that they've been doing for the last 25 years. This next man in. I mean, it's not a particularly tough question. You lose great players every year, and every year somebody has to step up to fill the role. Are you going to reestablish the production of the guy you filled? Rarely it happens. We saw it with Higgins and Campbell to a degree, but you expect to take steps back in some positions and steps forward in other positions.
Yeah.
Here's my answer. Have a big ass set of balls and compete your ass off during spring ball and camp, and then go into the season with the confidence that you can play with anybody because you've already proven it to yourself.
And trust those guys, Phil Parker and Goat Wallace. And that's a pretty good formula.
Facts.
Drake, side note, great quote from Jay Higgins in our podcast with him. He was talking about how he was sitting behind Jack and yada, yada, and he waited his turn. And he goes, was I unfamiliar with this guy from Cedar Falls? Yeah, I was. He's like, when I committed, did I know about this guy from Cedar Falls, Iowa? No, I didn't. It was the funniest, logo. No, it was amazing.
That's a great quote.
This number 2 kind of goes with number 3, but it's all encompassing. It includes the D line, just the defense as a whole. And honestly, as I think about Cooper DeJean being in the Super Bowl and the impact he had for the Eagles this year and before that the Hawks, I think it's tough to put this on him. But how does Iowa defense get back to or closer to what they were in 2021, 2022, 2023?
Yeah, I mean, this one's really hard. This is a next man in year. This is a prove yourself year.
How do you fill those roles? And then when you filled them, how do you look at those 11 and say, hey, we got a standard here. We need to be top 10 again. And again, that may be a question that's unanswerable. They might not be able to do it or even expect
No,
it to.
they can do it. They can do it for sure. But they got to play. They got to play defense the way that Iowa plays defense. They have to have 11 dudes with one thing in mind and just playing in perfect synchronicity.
6 seconds of hell.
I'm just going to come out here and say that it's unrealistic to expect that quality of defense.
Unfair question?
Yeah, for sure.
Unrealistic expectation.
To expect that every single year is a losing formula.
The Swarm Collective.
Those were elite.
Oh, okay, Kevin. You're just content. You're fucking content, bro. You're complacent, dude.
Obviously, we're going to put out the best product that we can out there, but 21 and 22 defenses were insane.
Yeah, they were.
The Swarm Collective going to have to, people going to have to donate a lot more money to the Swarm Collective if they just want the expectation to be a top 5 national defense every year, just no matter what.
Just look at the average over the last decade, though. I mean, we've had great defenses over the last decade.
Incredible.
And if you just take the average,
yeah, sure,
we do that for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's the question. How do
defenses? Sure.
Yeah. You know,
top
we need
5 every year is it's hard. It's a tall task.
Yeah.
Tall task.
Yeah. Get home safe. We need Caitlin to become a donor to the football program.
True.
That's a great point.
And then we need Caitlin's friends because she's got some powerful ass friends now.
She Can we get Taylor Swift to write a check that she won't even notice is gone for $50 million to the Swarm Collective?
I mean, what Jason Sudeikis has been like 20 games. You're telling me that Brad hasn't walked down to the court and said, "Oh, Mr. Sudeikis, we appreciate you being here. Can we get you a commitment for a check of a certain amount this time next year?"
I don't know if he's a football guy though.
Well, it depends what kind of football
guy.
I know he's a football guy.
He's a character at least. He's got something.
And this leads us to the biggest question of the offseason, and that is this Mark Gronowski actually the fucking guy?
Who knows?
Is he all that we hope he is? Is he the prince that was promised? Is he going to step up immediately and be a great leader? He's already got this surgery thing. He can't participate in all the spring stuff. Does he bring the stats and the mechanics and the footwork and the progression development and the leadership to the field in this offseason? Does he get with the guys? He gets the routes down. Is he the guy? Okay. Because if he isn't, I'm fucking done, Kevin, with this program and football entirely. I'm out. I'm retiring from podcasting. I'm going to I'll just strictly be a women's basketball fan from now on, and wrestling. Tough weekend.
Not volleyball anymore?
Oh, and Nebraska volleyball, yeah.
What happened in the wrestling match today, or the duel today? I didn't get to see.
They murdered Maryland, but
yeah, I mean, it's Maryland. Bro, Penn State's just on a different level.
They're on a different level. Those guys they're performing at an entirely different level from top to bottom than everybody else. And that's saying something, because if there's one thing that I've learned in my time learning the martial arts, is that wrestlers who make it to the Division I level are savages.
Yeah.
They are just a different breed of animals. And so to have a group that performs at in a different atmosphere than everybody else, it just doesn't even make sense.
it was just tough.
And I hate to give Penn State all this sloppy top, but
yeah, dude.
I mean,
sucking, bro.
Cale Sanderson, hats off to you, man. Take a bow, because he's up there now with the greatest college wrestling coaches of all time.
I saw a good little descriptor of it.
So much time left too. He's got statues galore for that guy, man.
I saw a great quote from somebody that was in a conversation on Twitter that was like, they have been the hunted for a decade and they're widening the gap.
Yeah. It's like Tiger in his prime.
Yeah. But back to Gronowski, it's the biggest question. It's by far the biggest question if you're talking about roster and personnel wise. With how Cade McNamara worked out and how much money we spent on him, and now we go and get this guy, and we're told that he's the guy. He has the pedigree. He's won 2 national championships at the FCS level. He's won more games than most people have even been in college to see, starter or not. Can he bring that to Iowa City and really lock down, for the first time in a while, the quarterback position as a spot where Hawkeye fans wake up on a Saturday and they're not worried about the QB. We're worried about something else.
Right? I'll say this. I'm much more optimistic about this than Cade.
I am too.
You are?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that when Cade came in from Michigan, you were not that optimistic?
Because
that makes one of us.
I was optimistic. He
was a lot less proven.
But yes.
I mean, he had won a Big Ten title
on a really damn good
team. Really damn good team, but
yeah, he got carried. Looking back at that more and more than you think.
Well, now we know that, but when he came in, I wasn't really thinking that.
No, I was thinking there was a chance, but
I was thinking this dude's got big game starts.
He hadn't really played football in a year at that point.
Yeah,
this guy's got a ton of experience at it, playing a high level of football. And
I mean, we got to find out what his knee looks like.
Oh no, it's his shoulder.
Or his shoulder. We got to fit that even worse.
Hey, but we don't need him to be crazy.
Throwing shoulder or otherwise.
So he's got a new bionic shoulder, courtesy of Striker.
I think it is his throwing shoulder. But
so he's got a bad throwing shoulder. That's good.
Yeah. Well, he played with it last season. He was fine. It's gonna be fine, Drake. Everybody listening is gonna be fine. Don't worry about it.
I mean, you walk around the Iowa football locker, and there's probably 20% of the guys have had that operation.
Yeah, Drake, you rolled around on a scooter with a shoulder sling at the same time, and look, you're 30 and you're fine.
First of all, look at what
Your shoulder's fine.
it's not though. It's just simply not. I have. It's still not good.
Still not good. Well, okay, so let's just hope. Everybody sit here. We're all just going to hope that Mark Gronowski's shoulder is better than Drake's shoulder. And then we'll be fine. We'll be fine, everybody. We'll be fine. That's it. Another episode of the Washed Up Walk-Ons. Drake joins us. Always a treat. Absolute treat from an undisclosed location. But don't worry. He's got that thing on him, allegedly.
Got that thing on me.
We'll talk to you guys next time. Hopefully have a guest. Trying to get Pat Anger on to hear about his first year.
I'll have to come back, hang out.
Well, you'll see it when we lock it down. But we want to hear about his first year in the booth with Dolph. We're gonna get Brad on soon. I think next week we're trying to lock him down.
Brad.
Hear about all this money, this rev share, update on the swarm, all that, and then we're gonna get Don Shump on too.
Shout out Shump, man.
He's gonna come on. He wants to come on. So we got some guests lined up. Keep bringing it to you this off season. We'll talk to you then. See ya.